District 9. This film buried its politics inside a creature feature so effectively that most audiences did not notice they were watching an allegory about apartheid until it was already under their skin. Neil Blomkamp's 2009 film imagines a stranded alien population confined to a slum outside Johannesburg and follows Rikus, a bureaucrat overseeing their forced relocation after he is accidentally infected with a substance that begins turning his body into one of the very creatures he has spent his career oppressing. The hybrid transformation here is not an accident the film apologizes for. It is the mechanism that finally forces its main character to understand what he has been doing to an entire species. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes for a film critics called one of the smartest science fiction films of its decade, and proof that a creature feature can carry real moral weight. The thing some monsters attack you. This one becomes you perfectly, down to the memory of a conversation you had 5 minutes ago. And there is no way to know which of your friends it already replaced. John Carpenter's 1982 film Traps. A research team at an Antarctic outpost with an alien organism capable of perfectly imitating anything it absorbs, cell for cell, thought for thought. What follows is less a monster hunt than a slow collapse of trust, as the team realizes any one of them could already be the creature wearing a human face. The practical effects, built by Rob Bottin, remain some of the most stomach-turning hybrid transformations ever filmed. 84% on Rotten Tomatoes for a film initially dismissed on release and now widely regarded as one of the greatest horror films ever made. The monster is not the scariest part. Not knowing who it is anymore is the girl with all the gifts. This film takes one of the most exhausted premises in the genre, a fungal infection that turns people into ravenous predators, and asks a question almost nobody else bothers to ask. What if the infected child is also somehow still a person? Colin McCarthy's 2016 film follows Melanie, a preternaturally intelligent girl held in a military facility alongside other infected children who retain their minds as long as they are not exposed to human scent. She is simultaneously the world's best hope for a cure, and something the adults around her are frightened to even look at directly. The film never resolves that tension cleanly, and it is stronger for refusing to. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes for a film critics called one of the most original entries in the infected genre in years. A monster movie that ends up asking who the next chapter of the species should actually belong to. Annihilation. Alex Garland's 2018 film does not give its hybrid organisms a single clear shape. That is the entire point. Adapted loosely from Jeff Vandermeer's novel, Annihilation follows a team of scientists into the Shimmer, a spreading zone where DNA from every living thing inside it, plant, animal, human, has begun refracting and recombining into forms nature never intended. Natalie Portman's biologist does not find a monster waiting for her at the center. She finds a mirror built out of her own cells, and the film's climax is less a fight than a confrontation with what infection actually means when it happens to your own body first. 87% on Rotten Tomatoes for a film critics called one of the most genuinely alien science fiction films in decades, and the rare hybrid creature story willing to end without an explanation. Train to Busan. In 2016, a South Korean director trapped a train full of ordinary passengers with an outbreak that turns its victims into something faster, angrier, and far harder to outrun than the genre had ever allowed before, and used it to build one of the most acclaimed disaster films of the decade. Yeon Sang-ho's Train to Busan follows a distant, self-interested father and his young daughter as an infection tears through a bullet train bound for Busan, forcing strangers in adjoining cars to decide over and over who is worth the risk of helping. The infected here move with terrifying speed and pack-like coordination. But the film's real tension comes from its passengers, the ones who choose selfishness and the ones who choose sacrifice, often within the same carriage. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. The most purely devastating infected creature film on this list, and the one that earns the top spot by proving the scariest thing on board was never really the infection at all. So now the question is simple. In these films, what is more frightening? The creature the infection creates, or the person it reveals underneath? Write it in the comments. And if you want more rankings covering the most acclaimed creature features ever made, subscribe now, because the next list is going to go even further.